Hi everyone, how are you today? It's Sharon here for a live with Essential Stencil. I'm from the blog I Restore Stuff, where I love to teach others how to upcycle furniture and their home decor using some eco-friendly furniture paints. So if you're joining me here live on the Essential Stencil page, welcome. And if you're here for the very first time, or if you're watching the replay, comment the word replay if you're watching the word replay, if you're watching the replay of this live. But if you're here for the very first time, we'd love to know that. So join us in the comments and enjoy the conversation, because we always have fun chats here at Essential Stencil. Hi Deb, let me know where you're tuning in from as you join us here live. I'm just going to pull up my live here on the screen so I can see comments on the computer. Oh yeah, there we go. Cindy's here from Wisconsin. Elisa, hi, Dawn, Teresa, Bronwyn. I'm doing this landscape today because we've got kind of a wide project today. So I wanted to just do it this way. So if you are watching with your phone this way, you might just want to turn your phone sideways and then you'll be able to see a lot better. And I'd love you, if you can, to sprinkle this live wherever you are so that others can join in and follow along. And there's prizes always at Essential Stencil. At the end of our live, we'll be drawing 3 lucky winners to receive some Essential Stencil sets. Today, the set that I'm going to be using is one from the new collection, well, the latest collection, is called Wonderfully Made. So it has the verse, fearfully and wonderfully made, from Psalm 139, verse 14. And on the back, it's got all of God's grace in one tiny face. Sorry, we'll just move the instructions. I'll get them out in a second. In one tiny face. Perfect for a nursery or baby's room or baby's gift or a baby's sign. So we'll be doing some things with that today. Has anyone already taken advantage of the 25% off sale? Thank you guys so much for sprinkling, because this is one you want to sprinkle, and this is some information you want to sprinkle too, because Essential Stencil is having a site-wide 25% off massive sale, but there's more. You can get an extra 10% off by using my code I Restore Stuff. So at the checkout, if you type in I Restore Stuff, you can get a further 10% off. So what's that? 25 plus another 10 is 35% off everything in the store. So it's all marked down. Everything's 25% off, but add my code in and yes, you get an extra 10% off. So that includes the stencil brushes, which I'll be using today. The set of 4 brushes. They're wooden tag sets, which come in a set of 3 gorgeous little wooden pine tags that are perfect for their mini tags. Hi Cindy, yes you did. You took advantage of the sale. Good on you, girl. Yes, it's such a great sale. And that includes the stencil that we're going to be using today. I also wanted to mention the Stencil of the Month Club. Because the set that's out now, also you can use my code I Restore Stuff, join the Stencil of the Month Club, you'll get this set, but you'll also, if you use my code, you get your 50% off your very first month in the club. So let me just show you those before we go on to our stenciling today while you're sprinkling. Thank you for sharing, guys, that's amazing. We've got, this is the Stencil of the Month Club set. We've got all these cute football and fall sign ideas. Check out that large football there. That's going to be so much fun. Game day. That's one. So every month you get 3 stencil sets, plus there's an optional add-on for, I think it's just an extra $10. You get this add-on, and I want to have a play with this one today if we get time at the end. The other 2 in the set that come with is pumpkin pie hot coat. Now this one has been extremely popular and well worth just joining the club just to get this one stencil, but you get 3. And the other one is the lots of little sayings here. It's sweater weather, home is where your pumpkins are. Is that the one? One of the ambassadors did that one this week. I think it was Grace, who did the home is where your pumpkins are with photos of her kids. I thought that was such a cute idea. And there's other sayings on here and some cute little pumpkins at the end. So that's the Stencil of the Month Club. And if you do join the club, it is so much fun in the club Facebook group. There is so much inspiration there. Lots of people posting their ideas for the Stencil of the Month Club and what they've been painting, sign making, whatever they've been stenciling on. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to point you down to start our project today. What I have done is I've cut out a huge This is just a pine board, and I've just painted it plain white. But the reason I did that is because I did one of my favorite projects to do is, well, actually this one, I don't even know. This wasn't even a canvas, I don't think. This frame I just found at an op shop. But I'll give you the measurements of it because I did bring my handy tape measure to show you how large it is, but it's really large. So I wanted to show you how we can make this stained, how to make a black stain just from using furniture paint. So I'll show you that while our stencil is drying. And we're going to be stenciling on this board. So let me just pop the project down, see how close we can get it in here. Hopefully it's not too crooked. Oop, my light just turned off. Never mind. I knew I should have charged that before I started today. Let me just turn another backlight on just to see if that will make a difference. Hold everything. Maybe not a lot. We might have a little bit of shadow here, but you can see the project. All right. And I always don't know which way to move across. Here's my offloading paper. So you just need a bit of brown paper or something to offload your paint onto. Let's get it sorted. Okay. Now, with our stencil, we're using this one today, Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. And on the back, we've got All of God's Grace in one tiny face. And I think I'm going to use this for my sign, this one. And then I've got another idea for the other sign on the other side. So stay tuned for that one. Some great nursery baby ideas today. I don't know, what else could you use that other... I mean, there's so many good uses for the scripture verse that's on the other side, isn't there? Because it's a good one. There it is. Fearfully and Wonderfully Made, Psalm 139, where it talks about being created. Here's our tiny face picture. Now you could do this. This is such a large sign. Let me get my measurements. My large signboard it's big enough for 2 of these stencils, honestly. Oh, now guys, I've only got my centimetre one. It's 59 centimetres. Let's see. And 48 centimetres across. You'll have to figure that out and write that down and figure it out in inches with using your Google or your Siri, whatever you use. But these stencils here, this will give you an idea, are 16 by 12 inches. Okay, so if these stencils are 16 by 12 inches, I'll hold that one across there and you can see that it's a little bit longer than the 16 inches. So that's probably like 18 inches across. And then it's probably double, just about double the 12. So it's probably 24, around about 24, a bit less inches long. But I love the idea of that farmhouse look where we just do a nice and simple, plain white background with black writing on the middle. And then I've got a couple of projects today, so stay tuned for the others. What I want to do is try and make sure that this is centered. I'll put a little bit of painter's tape if you're uncertain about the movement while you're stenciling. It's always a good idea to just add, and you only need a tiny bit of tape, just enough to hold it in place. Some people do use something called like a stencil adhesive to stick to the back to stop it bleeding under. But I really find that the less you use on your brush, the better your stenciling will be. I'm going to use like what is this one? A 3/4 inch brush. These are the Essential Stencil brushes that come in a set of 4. Now don't forget guys, the big 25% off sale includes these brushes. And don't forget to use my code IRestoreStuff and you will get a further 10% off. So that's happening at the moment on the Essential Stencil site, and the link is right there in the description of our live for where to find this stencil that I'm using today. And you can go there, use my code and get you 25% off everything. All right, let me just have a check at our comments. Melinda says, I have a granddaughter that will be 1 year old this month, plus she has a 4-year-old brother. That's perfect. This sign would be lovely for that. And Elizabeth, thank you. She's got 59 centimetres is about 23 inches. So we were almost right. Yes, and the other measurement, Elizabeth, was 48 centimetres. So whatever that is in inches. Thank you so much for calculating that for my USA people. I'm from Australia. If you couldn't tell by my accent, I'm from Australia. And I've been an ambassador for Essential Stencil for a couple of years now. I can't even remember when it was I first started. But I love the community here. It is just such a wonderful place to hang out on these lives with our ambassadors. Now, I've just offloaded a lot of my brush on that paper there so that it's almost dry. See, if I touch my hand, you can barely see paint on there. So that's how I want it to be. Eyeballing this again just to make sure we look like we're in the middle. I feel like it's a little bit over the wrong way. Hang on. We've got 9.5. Oh yeah, we just need to move it slightly across, guys. That's assuming that the whole stencil is... Okay. So I've got my brush. All I want to do is starting with wherever you like, but I usually start at the beginning. It's a very good place to start. Okay. Yeah, Melinda, loving the sale. So excited about the sale. Yeah, it's a really good deal. So if you can take advantage of that this week. So here's some tips for when you're searching on the Essential Stencil site for some stencils that you're trying to find or some ideas. If you have a theme in mind, say you're looking for fall or autumn or Christmas, just use those search terms in the search bar. There's a search bar right there at the top of the essentialstencil.com site. And so if I'm looking for, I don't know, pets or cats or dogs, if you search that, it'll bring up all of the stencils related to your pets or, you know, there's wedding or Valentine's or, you know, holiday themes. If you type that in, you're likely to come up with all of those related stencils. So search bar is always a really great place to start. Also, you can they do have sections there that you can just scroll through and just browse. How about browsing? Teresa says, I wish they'd get the stencil back in that had the cross. I wonder which one you're referring to, Teresa. So is it definitely gone, or is maybe it could be? Yeah, just let us know what it was called if you can. It may still be there, or it may be that it's been retired. There's not very many stencils that have been retired or discontinued. So, oh, someone just ordered it to Lorraine. Just ordered the stencil to make for your great granddaughter. How exciting! So I'm just doing a swirling method. So I kind of just am dipping the paintbrush in very lightly into my black paint, and I'm just using an acrylic-based furniture paint that I sell here in Australia. It's an Australian brand of mineral paint, but you can get lots of different acrylic-based, any water-based paints, great. You can get over there. You can always have a look on my Amazon store where you'll find links to some of the like fusion mineral paint and those kind of things that I also use. I have a lot of things on there for tools for stenciling, like boards that you can, you know, paint on, or ideas for trays and stenciling tools, all that kind of thing. So let me know if you need my Amazon link, and I'll be happy to pop that in for you when I go back through and answer questions. It is a gorgeous saying, isn't it? When I saw it, I thought that is just perfect for a baby's room. And I want to show you how I'm going to stain the frame. And does anyone recognize this cute skinny font here that everyone seems most familiar with on the Ray Dunn brand of goodies, which has been around for a little while. Okay, Arlene said yes, I'd love to see the Amazon link. Yeah, I'll have to grab that for you. I didn't get it ready, but Essential Stencil may have it. If they're listening, they can pop it in for you. But otherwise, I will go back and check the comments and reply to you there with that link. Okay, so I'm just doing a swirly, swirly, swirly around. If there's areas where I feel like I need to get this more into the bristles of the brush, so I don't know if it's off camera, there we go. So I'm trying not to flick it because I don't want to flick the black paint on my board here. You can see where I'm offloading this onto the paper. There we go. There's a bit more full coverage when I've sort of worked the paint into the bristles a bit more. And the reason I can swirl like this and not have any paint bleeding underneath the stencil is because I've offloaded that paint. It's better to, and I feel like I may need an extra coat, but it might be just okay just like this. I'm just going over those areas where, so we can see it's a little bit darker at the top here than it is here. So I'll just go over these other bits where it may be just a little bit less. It's probably just dry enough where I can do a second coat. And as I saw, I think it was Melissa yesterday, and I do the same thing, is there's paint that sits around the stencil there that you can grab and bring in. You can see that's pulling off the sides and coming back onto the brush and down into the stencil there. So I feel like I'm cleaning my stencil at the same time, bringing the paint in to where the stencil letters are. So there we go, kind of added a second coat as we went. Now you can always just pull it off and then put it straight back on again. We'll just see how we went like that. And I just love the simplicity of just the black on white. It gives just a lovely, and now those letters are lovely and crisp. I'll just put my stencil aside and I'll hold that up a little bit closer for you so you can see the nice crisp letters there. And so there's no furry edges because we offloaded our brush as much as we could onto the sides. Now, as I pop that aside, I wanted to show you the frame, and I was going to show you how I can stain that. Now I have to decide which side I want to use. This one has a few more holes in it, but it's very rustic and kind of got chunks out of it, that kind of thing. So yeah, Kathy's talking about the fonts on that stencil. They are beautiful, aren't they? All right, so to make a stain, I just need a little bit of water in a jar and a little bit of paint on my brush. So I'm going to add a bit of water. I'm right next to my kitchen sink here, so I can do that fairly easily. And I don't need a lot. So I've just got a little bit of water in the bottom of a jar. All you're doing to make a stain is mixing some paint with water. So I'm actually just going to use my stencil brush and grab a bunch of paint onto the brush there and stir it around in the water. It's a water-based paint, so that's going to work. It's almost like I'm washing the brush out at the same time. I'll show you how effective it is as a stain. Now once you've stained this, and I'm creating it with black paint, you could do this with brown paint and get a nice brown wooden stain. Yeah, there you go, Leanne. She said she might go purchase this one. It is such a cute stencil. It really is. And with that 25% off sale, plus my code of using iRestore Stuff code, you get an extra 10% off if you missed that info earlier. Okay, so I've just wiped the brush off as much as I could. It looks like I've pretty much sort of washed the brush out. Let's see how that looks as a stain on the wood. So, sort of a little bit of a grey wash. But that's okay. I love the effect that it's creating. And like I said, this has got lots of rough wood grain on the board. And once you've got that stain in place, I can't really see the front here, but I'll try and do that as best I can. I'm dipping it into the water again. Well, water I say, but it's actually black water because I've put some black paint in the water and created a stain. So you could probably add more color if you want more color to the stain. So if you want, you know, more brown, add more brown. If you want more black, add more black. That one looks like it's got a little staple in. I'll have to remove it later. Once this is dried, and I'm going to get the inside edges here. Once this is dried, it'll look fairly chalky and porous. Then you would just add a wax or a sealer. Just a wipe on poly sealer is fine. I'll just do these couple of edges and see how we go. Add a bit more. There we go. You see that there? So we've created a stain just using some paint on this rustic board finish. If you've got any questions about staining, you can use oil stains. There are lovely stain and finishes around now that are quite nice. I know that Amanda, our ambassador Amanda, loves using stains. She has a stain clinic that is really helpful, has been helpful for lots of people, and how to create stains or how to use stains, what stains to use. So go check that out. And I've got a lot of info on my blog too about whitewashing or creating stains for furniture pieces and things like that. So I was just going to do the two sides, but it's not taking too long. So let's just do that really quickly, and I can show you how that's going to look on our lovely, with the lovely white board as the background. So it just adds a lovely character to the wood, soaks in the wood grain there. And like I said before, you can add more paint or add more water depending on how colourful you want or how deep you want that colour to be on the stain. So here we are, just doing this side bit. Look, I hardly even sanded this off. It's just so rustic. There's lots of little chunky bits on it. And I love that. Oh, sorry, I took that out of the shot. I love the look of that rustic farmhouse look. So let me see if I can catch up on comments here. Kim says, I bought a home sweet home from another company because I couldn't find one on ES. It's nothing like the ES stencils. Yes, it's flimsy and not enough bridges to hold in place. Yeah, Essential Stencil really has done their research with, as far as, you know, putting their bridges in all the right places. They have amazing designers who can put all of those things together to make really great quality stencils. And the thickness of it is just what makes it really good quality. And easy to use. They're not flimsy at all. And I think that many of you who have already bought them would say how much great value they are. So when they have sales like this, 25% off site-wide, it's a great time to stock up on those stencils that you might have missed out on during the year or hesitated to purchase. A sale is a really good time to take advantage of that. So, oh, that's really, really rustic. I love it. I love a good rustic find. And like I was saying earlier, this frame, I just found that at some kind of op shop. But this is the original, so here it is. That's what it looked like before the stain, and here's what it looks like stained. Now as that dries, like I said before, it will be a little bit more porous. And I'm going to pop that into a jar to wash the paint off. Let me see our sign. But while it's wet, you can probably still get the right effect. Hopefully it won't drip on my paint. It's dry enough that it shouldn't. And I might have to, what I'm going to do is nail and glue that. Well, I'll staple it like a staple gun or something like that. Don't go anywhere because we've got some more projects. I have not finished yet. So isn't that just the cutest? Hang on, I've got to lift it back a bit further so you can see that. Okay, so we've got some more to do because, well, next I want to do something else for the nursery with that verse that's on the back of this. So it's all of God's grace in one tiny face. What I was saying before is that this sign is large enough where I could have done it sideways and you would have had room for the stencil here and a picture or a photo space for your little baby or whoever it's for. So isn't that a cute idea? All right, next project, moving right along. I'll pop you down here so we can see what's going on. I'll let the frame dry. Pop that on here. And I'm going to be stenciling a cushion. So let's make sure that's all clean. No black paint on my nice pretty pink cushion. So this is just an IKEA, oop, just dropped my paper that I've got to use for offloading. This is just an IKEA cushion, and here's the stencil that we're going to be putting on that. While I just grab my paper that dropped on the floor. Offloading paper, Essential. Okay, so it's a beautiful verse and would be good for probably other reasons. I mean, just doesn't that give you beautiful self-confidence? It's a nice self-confidence verse for anybody, not just babies. I think that, you know, you were made with a purpose. All right, here's our tape. I'm going to tape that down. And someone's going to remind me soon to put something inside so the paint doesn't go all the way through. Right. I was thinking of using a different colour for this, but then I forgot to get another colour out. I was thinking of the pink and one of those like eucalyptus kind of colours. I've got a mustard colour out and a red. Red might be cute, that cranberry colour. Or mustard. Don't know that mustard will go with pink. No, not going to happen. I could create a different colour, but I think I'll just go with that black. And then I want to see if we've got time enough to do a, you know what I will do? I want to tape off just down here. It's a little bit sort of close to the edge. So just in case my brush goes over the edge here. Let's see, are we down further enough? There we go. So this is just an IKEA cushion. Oh, and yes, someone was going to remind me to put a cardboard insert inside. I'm just using the cardboard that came with the packaging, and it fits just about perfectly on the stencil, even though it's that way. That's great. Perfect. So because I am using the black again, and I'm trying to, okay, Deborah says, yes, a great affirmation to remember daily. Yep, it's perfect sign, isn't it? I know, Billy, I would love to use the eucalyptus, but it's in my garage, in my storage, which is, I just don't want to leave, you know, blank airtime while you're just looking at my cushion. I should have been prepared. I got all the other colours out for my Stencil of the Month Club stencil. It's all fall colours, so. All right, so I'm dipping another brush in. I'm using a different brush this time, the 5/8 inch brush. And the reason is because the other brush is in the water now and it's going to be too wet. So once you've started washing out a stencil brush, even though I was using black on that, remember I created a stain and watered it down. So if I was to use that same brush, when it's all filled with water, it's not a great idea. You need to use, best idea is to use a dry brush and then dip it straight into your paint. I've offloaded that onto my paper. And now all I have to do is that same method. Now you'll find that stenciling on fabric is just a little bit different feel to stenciling on, say, a painted signboard or a piece of cardstock or paper. So I always tell everyone, practice on paper first or practice on cardboard, but you will notice because fabric has texture to it, and depending on the fabric, this one's a cotton, I don't know, I probably could look on the tag what it is, but it's a little bit of a drill kind of cotton, I think. It's got a few, you can see the weave in it, that's for sure. And so I think that sometimes you might have to go over a couple of coats, or you might have to just concentrate on that one letter for a little bit longer. But I do find that you get less chance of bleeding under when you're using fabric. So for those of you who have scrap fabric lying around or an old tea towel or something, you could practice on that for practicing on fabric. And you'll find that it tends to absorb more on some fabrics and not on others. Oh, sorry, I'm not looking at my comments to just see if there's any questions. Sherry had an idea. After you get your essential stencils, use them on the black cardboard in white and then set them all aside. And instead of going through all your stencils, which get stuck together a lot, you can look through your black cardstock. That's a great idea, Sherry, and decide which one you want to use. That would make a great little showcase kind of thing for your stencils. And in fact, white on those black cardstock is just beautiful. All right, I want to go over this, but I've got a lot of paint on my brush right now, so I'm going to do the and then come back to this little tail on the Y. You can always pounce the brush a little bit more to get it sort of into the fabric if you needed to. If you missed my live last week and you have not learnt about shadowing technique, you can go to the Essential Stencil video section, the video tab on the Facebook page, and find last week's video there, and I'll show you some shadowing. Actually, there's a whole entire category dedicated, what do you call it? A playlist that's got shadowing techniques in it. So that's right here on the Essential Stencil Facebook page. In the video tab, you'll find all of the different playlists for all sorts of tips and techniques. So if you are missing something, or if you're thinking, no, who did that? There's even a playlist for each ambassador. Each of us have a different playlist. So if you're thinking, I know who did that, but I can't remember what or how they did it, you can go and find your favorite ambassador and look up their playlist for that stencil that you want to learn about, or the technique you wanted to learn about. So right. What other colours? Yeah, the shadow technique is great, isn't it, Kim? What other colours do you think might go with pink for this sign? I mean, I'm just using black on this, but you could use a grey, a nice dark charcoaly grey, because it has to be dark to kind of contrast and make it visible, unless you're just wanting it to be subtle and not to stand out too much. But I'd love to hear your ideas on what colours you would like to try. I so wish I'd gotten that eucalyptus colour out to try with it, but it may have been too light, I'm not sure. All right, now let me see if we've got some ideas coming. Grey and pink together, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Brown or maroon? Well, see, I had the cranberry out there. Maybe I should have tried the cranberry. It might have looked nice too. What other colours do you think? Off-white or eggshell colour? Oh yeah, eggshell, like that duck egg colour maybe? Oh, eggshell maybe as in white eggshell, so an off-white. We've got the little verse there, so you could put it with the verse or without, doesn't really matter. And if you've seen any of my other stenciling videos, you'll know I love to mix and match words and signs and things like that, so you get a lot of ideas from going back and looking over that playlist. All right, so that's it for that one. Gorgeous idea for a baby's nursery. So now you've got a gorgeous pillow or a cushion. And what I'll do, because this a question comes up all the time, and I'll clean that in a minute, is what do you do to set the fabric, the paint on the fabric? So I've just used an acrylic furniture paint. Any acrylic paint, you can use proper fabric paints if you wanted to, totally. I just use this one, and I either iron it with a hot dry iron, or I pop it in the dryer for 15 minutes and then it sets, and then you just can wash it as normal. So there we go, we've had that black cardboard stock inside as an insert. Take that out and you're good to go. So I'm excited about that for that sign. Before we go, I was super keen to just have a little look at one thing fun on our Stencil of the Month Club design. If you saw earlier, I showed you what is in this month's Stencil of the Month Club set, and I reckon this one's probably about the most popular, this cute hot cocoa. Trying to point that down a little bit further. There we go, see the hot cocoa and fall treats sign. And then there's this one with all these little sayings on it. So each Stencil of the Month Club set comes with 3 stencils. So there's that, and this one here. No, that's the add-on. It's this one here. So you can see they also have a demo on the back of how you can use those different sign sets to make all the different little signs. So that all for, there's a subscription for 1 month, 3 months or 6 months. If you use my code, I Restore Stuff, you can get 50% off your first month in the Stencil of the Month Club. Now this is the add-on, and I wanted to have some fun with this one today, this one here, with the buffalo check. So let's just have a cute little look at that using my signboard here super quickly, because I just couldn't wait to use this one. And did you know what? It's not even fall here in Australia. We are opposite seasons to you guys. So we've just finishing winter. Well, we will be. I think, when does winter go till? June, July, August? No, July. Yeah, June, July, August. September, 1st of September is our first day of spring here in Australia. Can you believe it? So we are totally opposite to your seasons over there. All right, so Essential Stencil has linked there. The stencilofthemonthclub.com is where you need to go. Enter my code in at the checkout when you subscribe, and you can get your first month 50% off. So I want to put the fall up here. Fall is my favorite. And then I'm going to add some little pumpkins down the bottom from the actual set, because this is the add-on. So the add-on, I think it's only $10 extra a month to get the add-on. You can opt in for that or opt out with the add-on. But every time we demo the add-on, there's people going, oh man, I should have got the add-on. And then they go back and they have to email and get it in. So it is really worth it. You get the 3 set and then the add-on feature here. So you can opt for that if you wanted to. So I love the idea of this buffalo check. So let's take a look at that. And I want to add these little pumpkins down on the bottom of the sign. So I've got out my orange stencils here. And I may have to do a little bit of colour mixing, not my orange stencils, my orange paint is what I was talking about. I've got some green, I've got some red, I've got some fallish kind of colours. And let's have a look. I've just painted the base, and this board is, again, it's only in centimetres, so it's probably not going to be helpful. 22 centimetres by 29. 30 centimetres is a ruler size, which is your 12 inches. So it's around about 12 inches. Which is what this size is, and this is 16. Okay, so your stencils are all 12 by 16, and there's a set of 3 each month, and then you get to play with this add-on if you opt for the add-on. Alrighty, so I've got my paper here that I'm going to use to, there we go. It's got to always check my screen to see that you're, let me just move all the other stencils. This is the Stencil of the Month Club. So for those of you getting excited about fall, this is what we're working on. Oh, I need to know, what colours should I do? I think I might do, first of all, I feel like, should I do an underlying of black and then go over it with an orange? I think I might do that really quickly. I feel like some shadowing's coming on here, guys. What have we got? Yes, Deborah says they hit it out of the park on that one. Yeah, is it the fall check you're talking about? Even, did you know that there's an actual buffalo check stencil as well? So if you look for buffalo check or check in the Essential Stencil website, you can have a look there and find some of that. All right, so I'm just going to do a base of the black, because I feel like it'd be good to have a base of black and then do some kind of orange over the top. What do you think? I haven't used this at all yet. As you can see, I just got it straight out of the packet. Now I'm pouncing a little bit on these buffalo check stripes, because you want to make sure that the brush gets right in there. And I'm holding it down because there's no edges for which I can tape down with painter's tape. So there's the large patches there that are blank, that are easy to get the paint into, but it's the little stripes in the buffalo check that you've got to kind of wiggle a little bit more. So I'm sort of just going back and forth into the stripes. Okay, and round and round motion on the letters. Wow, I feel like I've done this super fast today, and my wrist is starting to get a little fatigued, let's just say. Pushing it too much, you know? Feeling like a Oh, got achy hands. All right, so here's another one, buffalo check. Oh, I feel like I got too much on my brush then. That's always a little panic that I have in my head when I'm live. Whoops, got too much on the brush. Got a little bit excited and didn't rub it all off. So I'm just going to dab so that I don't push that too much under the stencil. Okay. And moving it right around. See, I've hardly even dipped my brush again. And while this is drying, we can have a look at the little pumpkins before we go back over this with, and I won't do all of it orange. I'm going to maybe leave the letters black and just try and get some of the orange onto the buffalo check. Seeing how that all pans out, because I haven't seen this stenciled yet. Maybe maybe one of the other ambassadors have done this one yet, I'm not sure. But I love buffalo checks, so I love the idea of having a little play with this one. Kathy, yes, I feel like I've been doing a little bit of a marathon today. All right, let's have a look. Oh, how cute is that? I love it. That is so cute. That's very cute. Now, I'll bring that up a little bit closer so you can see. Didn't do too badly on the crispiness of the lines. Where was it? It was over here somewhere. I felt like I had a little bit too much on my brush, but it doesn't show, so that's okay. We did well. And what I want to do right away is just show you where we'll clean this stencil, because I want to go over that with orange in a minute. I want to make sure that that's cleaned off as much as I can. Although, you know, it wouldn't matter too much if you got a little bit of a tinge of that darkish in one of my oranges, because they do seem a bit bright. In fact, I was thinking some of the oranges, I could tone them down with a little bit of red. So to make orange, what's orange? Red and yellow, isn't it? Makes orange. So if you needed it a little bit darker orange, you could add a bit more red, I think. Okay, so as you clean the front, remember that that's all coming through to the back. So you'll need to wipe that and turn the stencil over and wipe through the back, because you'll do that a couple of times, because it does sort of come through. So I'll leave that over here to dry a little, and let's find our pumpkins for the base of this one. So this is just from the regular parts. This is from the add-on. This pumpkins is from the regular Stencil of the Month Club for this month, for August. I can't remember how many days you've got left to order this one. So like if you join today, you will get this set, but I'm not sure. I think it's the 20th of the month. Oh, someone's going to have to remind me. Okay, there we go. So there's us just putting it down there. Let's just go straight with the orange here. And I'm feeling like, I don't know whether to do this mustardy orange. Maybe I'll mix a little bit of paint today. This is Fusion Mineral Paint, and I've got that on my Amazon store. You can check that. But maybe I'll mix the mustard with this Tuscan orange. Whoop. Just to have a look at. This has gotten a little bit too thick. Whoa, and way too much paint. Just dripping a little bit onto my plate there. And I don't like to mix. I shouldn't have put that brush in there, but anyway. All right, let's just see what kind of orange we might come up with if we kind of mix those two together. A little bit somewhere in between looks good. Can you see that there? There we go. And that was Fusion's mustard mixed with a little bit of their Tuscan orange, just to give a little bit of a different tone. But I've seen, and again you'll see this in the Stencil of the Month Club when you join, in our club on the Facebook page, the group, there is so much wonderful, amazing talent in that group of people posting their ideas for some of these pumpkin ideas too, and they'll get, different they're very arty. Just let me say it. They are very arty people. And I love watching some of the ideas in there. Very inspirational. And now I do have a brush here that's got paint on it. I don't want it to dry out, so I'm just going to pop a wet cloth on there. Holding this still now, let's see how our pumpkins turn out with this colour. Do have to rub this off onto my paper. It's not too bad. Okay. Just tapping that down a little bit. And I do have some green that I can go over those little stems with also if I wanted to. If you missed the live earlier and you've just joined us, welcome. And don't forget to leave a comment if you're watching the replay. Comment the word replay. Oh, I think I could have some fun with the colours on this. Because pumpkins do have sort of variations on their skin. And I can see some of that grey coming through. You know, in Australia we have a pumpkin right where I'm from, is the state of Queensland, and the pumpkin is called Queensland Blue, and it's got a gorgeous, lovely blue tone that's almost got this greyish colour from underneath here on there. So I can see that coming through then. I think I just want to leave that there. See how we go with that. All right, leaving this in another wet cloth, and I was going to maybe just do the green right like this with the tiniest little stencil brush in the set. And it is the must be half inch, this one here. And I've got a lot on my brush there, so let's rub that all off. Oh, someone said my voice is soft. Maybe have you turned up your speaker just to check that? I'll just check my cable here. I think it's all good. Okay, so I've rubbed off most of that there. I am not going to worry about taping it off because I really don't mind. If that green gets a little bit onto the pumpkin, that's okay. There we go, a little bit of leaf, a little bit of stem. Oh, I've got to flick that off. There's a little bit of a paint chunk that just came off then. There we go. Oh, never mind. Yeah, so you guys can probably have a go at just creating all sorts of little different variations. Let's just try a little bit of thinking of dry brushing. It's not working, but thinking I had enough on my brush to do a dry brush. There we go. A little bit coming on there as that brush is fairly dry. Just adding another tone in there into those pumpkin stripes. And oh, I do like that. I'll show you close up in a minute. But there's some grain of the wood that is really just picking up the dry brush effect. So because there's hardly any paint on the brush, that's what we call dry brushing, and it's just creating a nice stripe on the pumpkins. Let's have a look at that, see how that turned out. So I'll hold that up really super close and see if you can see what I mean. Oh, that shadow is in the way, sorry guys. You can see the grain, and perhaps you can see a little bit of that dry brushing where I've dry brushed the green just super softly, but it's very subtle. I'll take some photos afterwards because always I do take a few little close-up pictures so you can see the close-up effect on that. So let's just go back over with our fall now, and I'm going to try and leave the black here and maybe just do a little patchiness. I don't know if I want to tape that off or just leave it. It seems a little bit tricky to tape off right now, but I think that I'll just put that in exactly the same spot. I feel like I'd love to see some orange coming out in this fall here. So grabbing my orange that I used before and getting a little bit of that, a little bit of this. And offloading it on here. So we've got that black under it as a base. What happens when I just go over the top with a bit of orange? Oh yeah, not too bad. See, it's all about experimentation, and here I am just experimenting with you live. It is a cute little idea for a sign. So I'm trying to just leave as much of the those letters as I can, but I'm not too stressed if I do get a bit of the paint on the words is my favorite. Then I'm not going to be too worried about it. Doing a little bit more pouncing. Grab that orange. So I just did a base of black if you missed that earlier. And at the end, we'll be picking out 3 lucky winners for our prizes. So stay tuned and feel free to share this live with anyone else that you think might love DIYing and crafting. Right now our city is in a lockdown, so that if there's anyone there from Brisbane watching or in Australia, welcome to my live. And I sell a range of furniture paints here in Australia, so I've been offering a free shipping code to my people who are in lockdown at the moment, so that we can just deliver to them, and they can have something fun to do during their lockdown, craft with our DIY paints and things. So anyone else watching the Olympics right now? That's what I am enjoying. Okay, so I could go over there with that black on just those areas where the letters are. Just trying to go over that a little bit more to where I've gone into it. It's sort of a little bit of a blend into the letters. I want you to give a little cheer for Australia if you're watching the Olympics. We are doing pretty well, considering our population. We're doing great. Okay, who's ready to see this? I like it. I like the way that turned out. And I've got a little pile of stencils over here to wash. But yeah, I love it. I love how that turned out. Clean up my mess in a minute, but let me just show you what we've worked on today. We have run a little bit of a marathon, speaking of Olympics. And I have made for you something for a baby nursery, something for, or anyone really, some of these, and a fall stencil with our Stencil of the Month Club set. So how cute is that? I've got some fall colours in there, some orangey, beautiful tones. Let me just grab our other thing that I made, and you'll be able to see I stained the frame for this sign, and it's now pretty much dried. So what I do now is when I go over that with a sealer, and I'll show you pictures of this later on my page. I'll be posting some there. My page is I Restore Stuff, so if you follow me over there, we have lots of fun DIY activities and tutorials, and there and on my YouTube channel. Oh, here it is. So let me hold this up so you guys can see. I've got the cushion. Oh, there we go. So we made a cushion today for a nursery. So we've got that there with that set, fearfully and wonderfully made. And we've got this is from the same set, All of God's Grace in One Tiny Face. And I was saying how the stencil would actually fit sideways with a picture of a baby, or even you could put a baby's name on there, but since it says tiny face, that would be perfect for a little picture to go even beside it in another frame, using that in a frame plus baby photo in a frame next to it. It's such a gorgeous stencil to use, and that's on the main Essential Stencil site, which is all 25% off now. If you missed that fact, you've got 4 days left to catch that sale, 25% off, plus use my code I Restore Stuff in the checkout, and you can get a further 10% off. So that's 25% site-wide, plus get a further 10% off using my code I Restore Stuff. The code is right there in the link. And we've also made this cute fall is my favorite pumpkin sign. So that's our stencils for today. Let me see if I can see our winners. Thanks, Joyce Ann. And I will go back through, and for anyone who's asked any questions, I love to answer your questions. So here's our nursery room ideas today. Once again, fearfully and wonderfully made from Psalm 139, verse 14. And a cute farmhouse sign to put in baby's room also. Would be a fun idea. So let's take a look and see if we've got some winners. Congratulations, winners. And I don't know if I'm seeing the winners yet. So guys, you're going to have to help me out here. Yeah, I'm not seeing, whoopsies. I'm not seeing our winners, but maybe you know who you are. Essential Stencil tags our winners each time. So yeah, I don't think I can see it. Yes, the 25% plus ambassador discount is amazing. So do take advantage of that. Yes, I'm seeing everyone saying congratulations winners, but I usually see who they are. So I can't see who you are, but I am congratulating you there. If you're a winner today, Essential Stencil has tagged you in that post. So please follow their instructions and you'll get a free stencil set delivered to you. That's amazing. Thank you guys so much for your comments. I'm going to go back through and read them, answer any questions. Please follow me over on my page, I Restore Stuff, or on Instagram or Pinterest or YouTube. Follow my YouTube channel there. Thank you so much for a fun live today, for joining in the conversation, and thank you for all your lovely comments. They are awesome, and I will see you next week for another fun live right here on Essential Stencil's page. I am always on the same time every week, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. CST, which is like 10 o'clock here in Australia in the morning, just if you wanted to know that. But I really do enjoy this time with you all, so thank you guys so much. See you next week. Bye.